What's going on, awesome people of YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to attempt to pass a $100,000 prop firm challenge live on FX Replay. So it's going to be a simulation. I've been day trading for a total of 6 years. My formulated mechanical system today is 3 types of structure: institutional levels, targeting those relative weak highs or weak lows, liquidity concepts, and entry confirmations, as well as fractal structure. So I'm going to give you insight into how I trade as a full-time $400,000 funded trader. I'm going to use FX Replay, so we can immediately go and start our session over here. So I'm going to use the account balance of $100,000. The pairs I'm going to use is GBP. There it is there, GBPUSD. Our start date, we can set this at the 1st of August and we can end this on the 1st of September. So I'm giving myself 1 month to pass this challenge and get the 8% targets. Our strategy over here, I'm just going to put 2-box system, which is a mechanical methodology that I teach to my members privately, plus the 3 structure types. Okay, so over here we can click on save. We can then go and launch the session over here. Let's click on play. All right, so let's get started with GBPUSD. Over here, my account balance at $100,000. All the trades you'll see I'll be placing on the actual chart, risking 1% per trade. And over here, all the closed positions will be documented over here. All right, so first and foremost, the first thing that I go and look at hopping into my trade plan and session is 4-hour swing structure. From there, I have a look at what internal structure is doing in that 4-hour structural range. Just to give you an idea, price will always move in the forms of higher highs or lower lows. Okay, 4-hour protected lows, 4-hour weak highs. Expectational order flow is to continue creating those breaks of structures, that 4-hour pullback. That internal shift to the upside to continue targeting those weak highs, internal pullback respecting those higher time frame demands, continuing to target those 4-hour weak highs. And within your 4-hour legs of structure, there is internal structure on lower time frame that occurs. Okay, so we have our M15 break of structure to the upside, M15 pullbacks, M15 break of structure, M15 pullbacks, continuing with this expectational order flow, which gives you a clear crystal understanding of exactly where you lie in price and always keeps you on the right side of the market. And then within this M15 structure, we have smaller, tiny, even a little lower time frame fractal structure that occurs. Okay, so I don't want to complicate things too much for you guys. I've got a much more mechanical way of approaching structure in my system. So first and foremost, let's have a look at the 4-hour structure. Most recently, we've had the 4-hour swing. Just going to quickly turn off this fractal structure indicator. Break to the upside, which over here is our 4-hour protected low. So that is our 4-hour strong. 4-hour boss to the upside, which leaves behind this 4-hour swing weak high. Okay, 4-hour break of structure, 4-hour pullback, 4-hour internal shift, pull back into that internal supply to continue with this supply chain, targeting deeper areas of demand before we start to look to go long, targeting those weak highs. All right, so extreme areas of 4-hour demand, we can actually mark out this demand fractal range with all of this valid liquidity. So we potentially could see a continuation of this bearish order flow, targeting this demand before we can start to look to go long. All right, so hopping onto the 15 minutes, which is our internal structure of our 4-hour time frame. We currently over here at 8 o'clock at night, so I'm just going to quickly go to next session. That's Asian session and London session over there. Okay, so most recently we have had the M15 break of structure to the downside, which this highest point over here after the previous M15 pullback becomes our M15 swing strong, and this becomes our M15 weak low. So understanding price at the moment, that we are looking to mitigate these deeper areas of demand. Our M15 swing lows are weak. Expectational order flow is to continue targeting these M15 weak lows. All right, so if we have a look at fractal structure or internal structure in the M15 swing range, we have this M15 break of structure to the downside. Price busy respecting the supply, following through with the supply chain. So we could potentially see a continuation of that break of structure to the downside, price pulling back to supply to continue targeting these fractal lows. Okay, so let's continue through. We've now had that break of structure to the downside. We have this area of valid supply. I just want to see on a lower time frame if we do get that liquidity build up for that supply. Okay, I'm just going to speed price up a bit. I don't want to go too quickly. Okay, so we have that valid liquidity build up for the supply zone, double top liquidity. So I'm going to take a short limit over here. Stop above that high. We can actually target that M15 week low for a 1 to 4 risk to reward. Let's just keep that at 1 to 4. We can place that order over here, risking 1%. Okay, there's tap in, and we tapped out on that trade. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Potentially just got swept into the zone, deeper areas of supply. So what I want to look for over here now is, after this internal break to the downside, is shorts off the supply over here. So I'm going to look for a short over here to then continue targeting these weak lows. Okay, so I'm going to set this at a 1 to, we can actually set this at 1 to 6 just for risk management purposes. We can risk 1% on this trade. Okay, we've tapped in over there. If we reach this low down here, I will set break even. Also take note, whenever I trade, I never take partials. I like to have my RR system fixed for risk management purposes. Oh, okay. And we just completely dove straight to TP over there for a 6% return. 1 to 6 are secured. All right. So we're already up 5% on the account, -1 plus 6, just risking 1%. When I trade prop firm challenges, I always go a bit more aggressive, 1% per trade. Live accounts, I'm usually 0.5% per trade, just to be conservative. Don't need to be aggressive for those payouts. Now that we've had that M15 swing low taken out, which was our trade plan and expectational order flow going into session, we can now start to potentially see a bit of that M15 pullback into areas of supply before continuing short, targeting these M15 week lows and potentially the overall 4-hour demand zone that we want to see mitigated later going into this week. Okay, so now we have this M15 break to the downside. We have these valid areas of supply. We also have these fractal breaks to the downside, putting this area of fractal supply in control. So again, everything is a reaction to what I do when approaching the market. So if price pulls back into the supply, builds up that liquidity, valid to sweep into the supply to continue targeting these fractal lows, valid for shorts. If price pulls back into the supply, breaks it with no liquidity buildup, demand will be in control, price will most likely then just continue with a bit of a pullback into deeper areas of supply before continuing to target those weak lows. Okay, so let's let price play out. We're still at 2 o'clock, so currently US session. Okay, price have a slight fractal pullback and continuing to target these weak lows. So now we've had price with this fractal break of structure to the downside. So if we get a pullback into the 50% of the supply, okay, so most recently fractal break to the downside, keep in mind that we can start to expect a bit of a bullish move, catering for that M15 swing pullback. So to look for shorts at the moment will be a bit lower probability because expectational order flow for the higher time frame is to start that M15 pullback. That M15 pullback we confirm with an internal break of structure to the upside, price overtaking supply, putting demand in control, looking to continue with a bit of that pullback. Okay, so we want to see these supply areas before going long to ride that M15 pullback. Okay, so let's let price play out. Okay, so this is what we wanted to see. Price is now taken out this area of demand. We have price is now taken out this area of supply. We have a valid demand zone over here. So if we get that pullback into this demand, valid to look for longs. We'll just target a 1 to 3 for risk management purposes. Haven't really got a target over here, so I'm just targeting 1 to 3. Okay. This is now 8 o'clock at night, so I'm going to remove this limit, as realistically I wouldn't be trading at this time. Price did leave without us. Okay, but to forward test it, let's just have a look at how this demand would have reacted. Yeah, so this is at 2 o'clock in the morning, so again, you wouldn't be trading at this time. Yeah, so you would have most likely had a BE trade after this break of structure to the upside, but it's okay. There's nothing to document. We removed the limit as we would have in a live trading scenario, because now we can move on to the next session. So we're currently at 7 o'clock. Let's just quickly go to next session right over there. Okay. So price has now had this internal break of structure to the upside, putting these internal demands in control. So if we get a bit of a pullback into this demand, we can look to ride more of that M15 pullback. If price pulls back into these supplies, supply will be in control, valid to then target these weak lows. Okay, so again, everything is just a reaction of what you're looking for going into session. No need to predict, no need to panic. Once you understand your trade plan, you execute and manage risk from there. And even if your trade plan doesn't play out, risk management always has your back. Okay, so over here we have a valid supply fractal range. So if we get a pullback into the supply, we'll start to look for shorts. Otherwise, we're going to look for longs on this demand area. Okay, so over here we've now mitigated this demand. I'm going to set buy limits over here. We can actually target that supply for a 1 to 2.8. I'm going to risk 0.7% on this trade, simply because this is a counter trend. Why can't I place that trade? Oh, it has to be below. Okay. We'll just place it like that then. Okay, so tap in. All right, immediate takeoff, sweeping this liquidity. Valid, 100% valid trade plan, because we had that internal break of structure. Internally, demand was in control, but understanding we're not going to target price all the way up to these areas, because the expectation is still to continue targeting these weak lows. But let's let this trade run. Okay, that actually should have been a break-even trade. I don't know why I closed. It's fine. We'll just leave it. Let's just say that was actually a BE, but minus 0.7%. That's fine. 100% valid. So now we've had that break of structure to the downside. Valid supply in control over here. So if we get that pullback into the supply area, okay, missed potential entry. So now in this area of demand, we want to see these areas of supply fail before looking to go long. Okay. New break of structure, new supply and control. So we want to see these supply zones failing before going long. There's that failure. We had that break of structure, mitigation into this demand now. We do have valid liquidity for this demand at the 50%. This is an equilibrium zone because the wicks is bigger than the body. So valid to take a long over here. We can place that order. 1% risking, yeah, 1%. Okay, so we're in and out. Price is going to probably want to come to this more extreme area. So over here, I'm going to place limit at the top over here. And again, because we're in a higher time frame demand, we can expect price to continue riding to these areas of deeper supply. So I'm just going to target a 1 till 3 again for risk management purposes. Over here, we can risk 1% on that trade. Okay, tap in. All right, immediately tap out. Okay, so 3% secured on that trade. Understanding our plan was, if price mitigates this higher time frame demand, we want to see supply start to take over. So we took entry on the recent supply. Wasn't as high probability because we didn't have any liquidity build up for that. Swept that liquidity over here into the more extreme demand, just targeting a 1 till 3 for risk management purposes. Okay, so we've now had this fractal break to the upside. Price is busy mitigating this area of demand. So I actually wanted to enter this over here because we do have liquidity for the zone here. So let's just see if we can just get this in over here. I would have entered here the 50%, but now on FX replay, this candle has already played through. You cannot go back on FX replay. So I'm just going to target a 1 till 3. Let's just actually see if we get tapped in for a total of 1% on this trade. So price must be below. Okay, does it want it there? 1%. There we go. Okay, let's see. Okay, tap in, tap out. We potentially want to continue to this area of demand fractal range. So let's see if we get that pullback over here. Again, we can still target 1 to 3, just riding price of the higher time frame demand. Okay, so no entry there, ran without us. We're now coming up to this area of demand, which again, I wanted to enter on on that tap in, most recent demand, inefficient push, the new fractal break to the upside. So let's just see if we get a re-tap in over here. Just going to target a 1 till 3. So yeah, all I'm doing is I'm just following the fractal structure, playing out through off this higher time frame demand. Okay, tap in and tap out again. So then most likely we'll come to these deeper areas of demand. I'm going to set limit on the extreme, still continuing to target these fractal weak highs right there. We can place that order. Okay. We've tapped in and we've tapped out for 3%. Okay. So yeah, so far we've had -1 plus 6, -1, -1 plus 3, -1, -1 plus 3. So the win rate is more or less 40-50%, but look at your RR. Risk to reward, we're already nearly 8% up. We basically need one more trade to pass. So that was the end of US session. I'm just going to quickly move forward to the next session. Okay, so here's our next London session. Most recently, we've had this break to the downside. We also potentially want to see longs off this M15 demand area over here. This is the M15 demand that created this break of structure to the upside. So weak high, strong protected low over here. On FX replay, I'm just using a structure indicator, so I don't have to keep marking it out manually when backtesting, which can help a lot. It's called MentFX structure. Okay, so we also have this fractal supply that's in control that created this break of structure to the downside. So if we get to the supply area first, valid to look for shorts. If we come to this area of demand, going to look for longs. Okay, so that will be the trade plan going into session today. No entry off the supply. Okay, so price is just continuing to fractally break structure to the downside. If we get the failure of these supplies or potential pullback into these supplies, this can actually be your supply fractal range. Valid to look for shorts. Okay, price is reacting off of these supplies. I still want to see demand fail. I still want to see supply fail looking for shorts, understanding our bias is still bullish as price is coming off these higher time frame demands. Let's let price continue. Let's see if we get a clear bias. Okay, so there we go. Supply failed. Demand over here now in control. Okay. Okay, price took off without us, without any entry, so we can look for continuations. Valid demand zone here to look for longs. Okay. New break of structure to the upside. I just want to see if I can find a recent candle that has created that. Yes, so over here we have valid demand that created this new fractal break to the upside. So we can actually set buy limits on this demand to continue through with this fractal structure. Again, just going to target a 1 till 3R. So yeah, what I look for is when structure creates these breaks of structures to the upside. So you'll see over here, structure break. Price always likes to pull back into the recent demand areas to continue from there. All right, recent break of structure, refined this to a lower time frame, the demand that caused that fractal break, following through with our higher time frame expectations. Okay, so we can actually place this order over here. Let's see if we get that pullback. Okay, no pullback. Price ran without us. Again, over here we can look off this area of demand. So if we pull back potentially to the 50%, which we just missed. All right. Okay, so now we've had a clear pullback. I'm going to look to then enter off this area of demand. I just want to see a bit of a reaction. Okay, there we go. So that's what I wanted to see, that liquidity form for the 50%. We'll just put my stop loss a bit below, targeting a 1 till 3. And yeah, okay, price ran without us. All right, so we're out of that. Well, we didn't actually get tapped in. Price just mitigated at the top. I wanted to see a sweep into the 50% of the zone. That's perfectly fine. No entry there. We're currently coming up to hopper 6, so let's just see what we get over here. All right, that break of structure. These demand areas are still in control. Okay, this is at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, so I wouldn't be trading realistically at this time. So we can move over to the next session. That's Asian and London session over here. Okay. So going into London, we most recently have had these fractal breaks to the downside, valid supply zones over here. Let's just have a look at our M15 swing. Okay, so M15, we could potentially see a mitigation into these extreme areas of demand. So we could look for shorts, riding price to these deeper areas of demand before going long. But keeping in mind, our highs are still weak. So if we see supply failing like this, which is what we want to see, we want to then start looking for longs of demand areas. Okay. So valid to take an entry over here. It's going to take a 1 till 3. Well, we only need 600 to pass. I'm only going to target a 1 till 2 over here, because we literally need 0.4% to pass. Let's see if I can place this order. I'm just going to risk 0.5%, because we really don't need much to pass. Okay, and there we go. We pulled out 0.5% on that trade. Yeah, so because, again, this was an evaluation simulation, we only need $400 to pass. So I'm not going to go and risk 1 or 2% on the trade. I'm only going to risk what I need to make to pass the account. So there we go, 8% on the account. If I go and click on, I just want to quickly see how can I get the analytics backtesting dashboard. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's quickly recap this backtesting session. So we had a win rate of 44%, average risk to reward of 3.59R, max risk to reward of 6, and the minimum was 2.5. So over here, average win 3.34%, average loss -9.4%. So over here is a prime example of how I'm losing more than half of my trades, but I'm making 8 to 10% on the account per month. And this is exactly what trading is. You don't need to have 80, 90% win rate. You can have a 30% win rate and still be extremely profitable. You will find the best traders in the world have maybe 20, 30% win rate. But once you manage your risk correctly, you will start to see returns like this. This was phase 1 passed. Our max drawdown, I just want to see if that was anywhere over here, daily losses. Yeah, so our biggest loss in a day was -3.8%. So we were well within the prop firm's limit. At the end of this day, I wouldn't have traded anymore. So yeah, we didn't violate the account. We passed with flying colors. If you guys would like me to do a continuation series of this, perhaps on a daily or a weekly basis, I want you to comment down below, leave a like on this video, make sure you subscribe so that you can get a notification every time I post a value pack video just like this one. I really enjoy doing this type of series. I backtest and collect data all the time. That's basically what has created and turned me into a profitable trader, is backtest, data collection, trading with a proven system that has been backed by proven data, proven history, and backtesting data that proves excellent results, which gives you that bulletproof mindset going into the markets. If you guys want to join my MM-funded community, I'm very picky and selective over the members that I bring inside of my community. Send me a message on Instagram. I'd like to learn a bit more about the type of trader you are. Even if you're a complete beginner, that's completely okay. My community caters for anybody that's a complete beginner, all the way to more experienced and advanced traders. I will also leave a link down below at the top of this video in the description. Will take you to a page where there's a free video and a description of everything inside the community, and also how you can join MM Funded from there. Without further ado, guys, I'm going to leave an entire playlist on the screen over here that goes over my entire trading journey. You'll see I posted trading videos 2-3 years back when I traded complete retail with chart patterns, Lux algo buy and sell, to a completely fully raw price action mechanical institutional system today. Without further ado, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.